Welcome back to Second Take. It has been a while since we've done this show. I'm joined alongside
Oliver Christie,
Nathan Israel, and DT Summers.
We got 3 topics to talk about. So first, let's talk about the big trade that happened today. George Pickens to America's team. Everybody, what do we think?
Oh yeah, let's go! George Pickens going to Dallas, because this team will not settle for 7-10.
What a way
They
to
saw a
ruin
rough
his
year
career.
last year, and they thought, we have to put this to a stop, and now the Cowboys are doing something about it, bringing in George Pickens to help fuel this flame.
Nate, what do you think about this?
What a way to ruin a young guy's career, am I right, guys?
I love that, Nate.
Personally, I think it's an okay move. You know, I mean, the Cowboys did need another wide receiver behind CeeDee Lamb, and you know, I think he's going to be productive, but I don't know how much it moves the needle as far as the Cowboys winning a Super Bowl, if at all, because I don't think they'll ever win one with Jerry Jones at the helm. So that's my take on it.
I mean, this is the first good move the Cowboys have made in about 6 years.
What about Jonathan Mingo?
Okay, he sucks.
Correction. I'm sorry.
Drafting Micah Parsons wasn't a great move.
I'm talking about like off-season, like
I'm pretty sure the draft's in the offseason.
signings and trades. As of Jerry Jones going, Jerry Jones going all in,
This is the best.
this
move
is the
he's made.
closest
Yeah.
he's gotten to that. It was a good deal, a 3rd-round pick. That's pretty good value for George Pickens. He had, I want to say, like 2,800 yards, 12 touchdowns with Pittsburgh. But this is a good deal for Dallas because Jonathan Mingo isn't it. Cavonte Turpin isn't it. Jalen Tolbert.
Turpin brings value to an offense.
Not
He brings
really.
value to an offense, but
But
not,
not
as
as
a wide receiver,
too. Yeah.
I think he could be if he was given the opportunity.
I
Problem
think
he's
that is the
not.
most delusional Cowboys thing I've ever heard.
No, it
Well,
is
he
not.
is a Cowboys fan after all, so.
Hey, why don't
Makes
you set your
sense.
trap there? You're not the sharpest tool in the shed either, G-Will.
He's a
not
good
good.
special
On-
teams player.
On the Steelers side, I don't really know what they're doing because their biggest need coming into the offseason was a wide receiver too, and they went out and they traded for DK Metcalf, which solved the problem.
Yeah.
And then they went out and they traded their second best wide receiver, and now they're in the exact same spot they were in to start the offseason, and I don't really understand why they did that.
And there's not like very few people out there left that you could sign. What you got, like, I don't know.
There is very few. What are you
got
trying to
Keenan
say?
I mean,
You're very confusing.
there is like, yeah.
Other
there's
than
just not-
Keenan Allen, there's not really a
Oh,
lot
Gabe
of
Davis
good wide
did get
receivers.
released today, though.
Yeah, Gabe Davis. But
Gabe
awful.
Davis sucks.
yeah,
He's not
Why don't you
not
like
terrible.
Gabe Davis?
he's all right.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. It would have been I would have had a lot of fun watching George Pickens and DK Metcalf together.
Fighting at practice, yeah, that would have
But,
been
like,
fun.
during games, it would have been a fun duo.
All right, anyways, moving on, we got the Kansas City Royals. Man, this team is the hottest team in MLB, winning 14 of their last 16 games. They won last night on the weirdest way I've seen. First of all, they had a walk by Mark Canha, then Chase Modrith, or whatever the heck that guy's name is, not relevant because the White Sox suck.
He's irrelevant.
Let's be
The
respectful.
ball bounced off of his glove and his head, and he got it, picked up and overthrew the second baseman. He couldn't even get the out, and then the Royals ended up winning. They're just the hottest team in baseball. You know, they had that 7 home run game on Sunday, and Michael Garcia's playing good. You know, Drew Waters is playing good. India's starting to heat up just a bit. Vinny is
Drew Waters
doing
was
all
0 for
right.
4.
You know, the bullpen is doing good. The pitching staff always carries the Royals in the past 2 years. So,
Wasn't Drew Waters like 0 for 4 that game? 1 for 4.
I mean, he still had a home run. So,
What's that saying in
Drew Waters did
theater
not
called
have a home run
when
yesterday.
one person just
well, I'm
goes
talking
on
about
like a
in the
huge
7 home
ramble?
run game.
What's it called?
Oh, a monologue.
Monologue. You just went on a huge monologue about the Royals. But I think it's time to incorporate the rest of us into this discussion. And in my opinion, the Royals are doing really good. Again, they've won 13 of their last 15. And Cole Reagans is one of the elite pitchers in Major League Baseball. That hill has, came and went. He's still on top of that mountain, right? Cole Reagans, elite. He has double-digit strikeouts 4 times this season in only 8 starts, so he's really been elite. This pitching staff is really playing well. And Bobby Witt Jr., I mean, he's just the best player in baseball. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
He's
what I
all right.
still can't comprehend is that the Royals gave up a 34-year-old Aroldis Chapman for Cole Reagans. What a trade. Royals front office really cooked that.
JJ Piccolo's
Was that a good trade or a bad trade?
Yeah, that's so
Do we even have to
disappointing.
ask that question?
Why is this kid on the show?
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
disappointing. Aroldis
yesterday-
Chapman used to be an elite reliever back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, but yesterday the
Like,
White
bro.
Sox just fell apart. Like, that was the most White Sox sequence of events I think I've ever seen. The leadoff walk. First of all, why is Cam Boozer your closer?
Yeah.
Then he walks Canna. Chase Mydroff has a pop-up hit off his head. And then Freddie Fermin
Perfect bunt.
gets down a sacrifice bunt. And then Cam Boozer, for some reason, decided he didn't want to field the ball.
I have a little question about that bunt. Do you think there's any way if he would have thrown the ball, it might have gotten there?
Yeah, honestly.
No.
I think he would have been out if they.
No.
It would have been close. It would
would've been
certainly.
close for sure.
If
Yeah.
Boozer decided to field the ball rather than waiting an extra 2 seconds, he would have been out.
Maybe Cam Boozer had a little booze before he went out on the mound.
Okay. fine.
Seems like
I
Boozer.
think I'm guessing he thought that whoever was playing third base was going to come in and field that.
Yeah.
But back-to-back defensive mishaps. Bases loaded. Isbell gets out. That sucks. But it's okay. He hit a home run earlier. And then
Yeah, he
Jonathan
did.
India, RBI, infield single, fielder's choice, error. I don't really know.
I don't know
it was
what the
called.
rule. Yeah.
The ball was stopped in the infield, but they couldn't make it out. And then Bobby Witt, walk-off single. Luis Robert just didn't really
Hey,
care
Luis
to catch
Robert,
it.
come to Kansas City. We could
No,
use you.
please don't. He is horrible.
Wait, hold
It's
on.
not
that's-
Robert.
he's
It's
not
Robert.
Robert.
It's Robert.
Wait,
He
he's
is
not
Cuban.
bad. He's good. No?
No, he is.
Someone has not watched Luis Robert play this season,
Okay.
apparently.
Can we talk about how Freddie Fermin had 2 bunts in one game? Isn't that pretty incredible?
Dude, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
He laid down 2 bunts.
Yeah, dude. That's the first time in his career. Freddie from
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about
Freddie
Drew
Freeman
Waters
is-
flyouts while we're at
Oh,
it, guys.
whoa.
And
You
also,
just spit all
sorry.
over when you were
Also,
talking
I gotta
to
say,
him.
Kyle Isbell did have some great defensive plays. He had that catch against the wall last night that almost was a home
And
run
then
by
if
I
gotta
forgot
get
who.
to the shower.
But,
you just got spit all
Anyways,
over your
moving
leg.
on to the NBA
Hold on,
playoffs.
wait.
Last night we had the Pacers and Cavs, and man, what a game! I don't know if it was close or not because obviously I was at the Royals game, but all I know is Tyrese
Obviously.
Halliburton hit the game winner, and the Pacers are up 2-0, and the Cavs are in trouble.
Honestly, good for Cleveland, good for Halliburton, but I think the most impressive part of this series so far has been Donovan Mitchell. He had 33 points in Game 1, and he had 48 points and 9 assists last night. So I know Cleveland's down 2-0, but Donovan Mitchell has been the best player so far in this series, and it is not particularly close.
Yeah, I mean, even though Donovan Mitchell has been elite, Tyrese Halliburton has led the Indiana Pacers to a really good
What a shot.
spot in the West.
Incredible
or the East.
shot.
What am I talking about? In the East. Obviously, I
Everybody
was
makes mistakes.
already asleep by the time the game ended. Obviously. So I didn't get to
He
watch
died
the
the
ending
other
in real
day.
time.
Pardon him.
But Halliburton steps back, bangs the 3, and they were behind by
Bang,
2.
bang, bang.
Hey, weren't they down by like 30 or something? 30 points?
They're down by a couple.
30 points on
Alrighty,
that?
Thank
on
you,
to the
Gino.
next series. The Warriors and the Timberwolves. Last night, the Warriors get the win over the Wolves. The Wolves only scored about 30 points in the first half. One of the worst halves I've seen in the NBA in a long time. But Curry injures his hamstring, out for Game 2. He might be out longer. Who do you think is going to come out on top, Oliver?
Well, I think they showed it yesterday. There were 3 guys that stepped up and took his spot. It was Jimmy Butler, who had
Himmy.
20. Himmy Butler had 20 points, 11.
Buckets.
He had 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists yesterday. Draymond stepped up really well. He had 18, 8, and 6. And then Buddy Hield had 24, 8, and 3. So I think the Warriors are going to be fine. I do think this is going to be a tough series to win without Curry. But I think they proved immediately after he was hurt that they have other guys that can step up and take his place.
Buddy Hield, what a pickup that was.
Yeah.
He came in clutch.
Yeah, Buddy Hield looked elite at the start of the
Yeah.
year. Then he was awful for a while. But he's back on track.
He might be
He's
back.
Really leading the team.
Yeah, no.
I think he is.
Draymond, I don't know how many threes he had, but he had like 4 threes in the first quarter or whatever, and he was doing good last
Yeah.
night.
At the end
So.
of the day, this series will come down to Julius Randle. If Randle steps up and plays as well as he did last year against the Lakers, the Wolves will win this series. But if Julius Randle plays bad, the Wolves will fall apart like they did last night, and they will not win the
And
series.
so, who's your X factor for the Warriors?
Hang on, Tegan, I genuinely can't tell if you were being sarcastic or not.
I'm being 100% serious. Julius Randle was elite during that series against the Lakers last round, right? He played really well.
Okay,
He scored
I
at
had
least
to check.
20 points in all but one game. And that one game, I'm pretty sure was the loss. So Julius Randle really an X factor for the Wolves. Now you asked me who my X factor for the Warriors
Yeah.
is. it's Stephen Curry. If he's healthy in most of these games, the Warriors will win the series. But if he's hurt, then the Warriors aren't going to do it. So the X factors for this series are Curry and Randall, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that's a bad take because Steph Curry was gone almost the entire game. The Warriors still won by double digits, and they
The
literally.
Warriors were ahead by double digits when he got hurt. So.
Butler, Green, and Hield stepped up and filled his shoes immediately. There was no one-man effort. The entire team stepped up and took his spot.
Quentin Post is going to need to step up big time.
I think they're going to be fine.
Draymond Green, he hasn't got a technical so far, but he needs to watch how he treats those refs because if they get him teed up, his team would not be proud of him, and that could be a deciding factor.
That's why I love
that could
watching
change the mood of the game.
Draymond has gotten teed up so many times, and they've won like 5 championships the last 10 years. I think that plays zero factor in this series at all.
No, he actually does have a point, because if Draymond gets one more tech, he's suspended for a game. Because he has 15 right now, and at 16 he gets suspended for a game. So Gila actually is right that it is important.
It's okay. Moses Moody will step up.
He just doesn't know why it's important. It's
that
not
is
going to change the mood of the game. Oh, they'll be so disappointed in him. They might lose.
Yeah, the morale will be just so defeated. They're all going to have to go to the locker room and cry for 5 minutes.
Well, I think that's what they did when Stephen Curry got injured.
Probably.
This is Stephen.
On to the next series. It's going to be the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. In this series, I think the Celtics will still come out on top, even though the Knicks went on that crazy 45-19 run during that last game. The Knicks were great, but the Knicks were playing as good as they possibly can, and they barely beat the Celtics, who were dealing with the injuries of Kristaps Porzingis, Cengiz Pengas, Sam Hauser was dealing with an injury. Once those guys come back
he's a big part of that
fully
team.
healthy, he is important,
Who's
even
on
though
the,
Oliver doesn't
bench
know.
player.
He's
Who's on the
clueless.
Knicks again? Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Josh Hart,
Josh Hart.
Cat,
Carl
all the
Anthony
big boys.
Towns.
Anyway, the X factors for this series are Josh Hart on the Knicks side.
Okay.
He plays with his heart. He gives it his all.
I agree
Josh
with that.
Hart is the X factor for the Knicks. And for the Celtics, it's just the health of their roster. If
Jason
they're healthy,
Tatum.
they will win this series with ease. The Knicks' only hope is for Sam Hauser and Cengiz Pengas to miss time.
Yeah.
Wait,
I think the Celtics are going to obviously come back and win. I don't know. I think this game is going to 7. I think that the Celtics will win the next 2 games, and then the Knicks will win game 6. Celtics. Sorry.
That would
Celtics
be game 4,
That'd be
G.
game
Will.
4, G. Will.
Celtics are going to win in game 7. That's all I got to say.
My parents always tell me to think before you speak, and I don't. No
Yeah, I mean,
disrespect
that comeback from the Knicks cannot be overstated. That was one of the more impressive comebacks I've seen in a very long time. They were down 20 at some point in the third quarter. They forced overtime and somehow managed to win. Brunson and Anunoby had 29 each. I mean, Brunson's just a baller.
I can't talk about OG Anunoby more. He was playing so well from behind the arc. He was just chucking up threes, and he's not a three-point guy.
Yeah.
He is a pure defender. He's what G. Will thinks he is, right?
Okay,
He's a
can I
great
finish?
defender.
Can I finish talking now? Thank you.
Oh,
Jalen
okay.
Brunson is a dog. I'm pretty sure he averaged like 30-something in their first series, 29 again. This series for the Knicks is going to come down to, is Jalen Brunson going to ball out the way we've seen him do it? I think it's simple as that. If Jalen Brunson keeps balling out, New York will win. If he slows down, the Celtics are going to win.
All right, last series we got is between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets.
Shai is MVP, by the way.
That's not true. It should be Jokic.
Try again.
Actually, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
It should be Jokic. But
My
anyways,
bad.
the Thunder were up for most of the game.
I wish Chica would still be at home
Until
right
about the third quarter, the Nuggets started to climb back in the game, and then Aaron Gordon decided to put on his Superman cape and carry the Nuggets in the fourth quarter to a victory and had the game-winning shot. So.
What did
Hey,
Jokic do?
the Thunder sold my parlay, so I will not be betting on the Thunder.
What did Jokic do that game?
He
Jokic.
did a lot. I mean, the top two
42.
MVP
He had
candidates.
42.
Yeah.
The top 2 MVP candidates showed
42
exactly
rebounds.
why they're the top 2 MVP candidates.
yeah,
Shai,
might be MVP.
I'll start with Shai.
MVP is Jokic.
Shai had 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. Jokic had 42 points and 22 rebounds.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't get what you say. Shai is my MVP.
Shy.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. My bad. SGA.
No, clearly you got it all wrong. It's been Jokic. He's been the best player in the NBA. He should deserve the MVP.
It's going to be Shea,
Nathan,
but it should be
you clearly and
Jokic.
obviously got it all wrong. I've looked at the stats and I've drawn my conclusions. I've watched the games. And Nathaniel over here clearly and obviously has it all wrong. The MVP should be Nikola Jokic.
It's not all about the stats. It's what happens on, like,
on the court, which is why.
Which
This
is why it should be Jokic.
Yeah, he's the best player in the NBA.
Why are you here?
I don't know what you're talking about. Speaking of MVPs, does Stephen Curry, like... Okay, let's talk about LeBron retiring.
Well, he's not retiring, so...
You actually think LeBron's going to retire? He does this every year in the playoffs. Oh, I'm hurt. That's why I didn't win. It gets the distraction off the Lakers' playoff loss, which is what he wants. And then he says, oh, I might be retiring because he wants everybody to be like, oh, LeBron, you're so great.
That's
Right?
cool.
That's what he wants.
And then they'll find
He's
somebody.
not retiring. He does this every year.
And
All right,
then
let's stop the glaze. Jokic deserves MVP. If Shea's winning, I'm going to riot. That's all we got for you guys today. For the Raven Network, this has been Oliver Christie.
Garrett Williams.
Nathan Israel.
And D. Tegan Summers.
Raven Nation, let's fly.